Thank you for coming back, and we will go on with the next speakers. There are triumvirate here at the desk with M.Wilson from University of Brighton, J.Whitaker from the same institution here, from our host, and H.Sofaer from Portland Sculpture and Quarry Trust, and they will speak about cultural landscape, sustained archival documentation as contemporary arts practice. That's the title of their presentation, and the floor is yours now.
Hello, thanks. The concept for ongoing recording of primary source field study research as a physical and audiovisual archive originated from the lead artist H.Sofaer's inquiry into landscape, whilst working on a temporary installation during the first sculpture symposium in Tout Quarry 1983, where works by over 50 artists, including Philip King, Anthony Gormley, Phyllida Barlow and Richard Wilson, were being made in response to the sheer space, scale and context of the quarry itself. This arts-led project saved the quarry from further mineral extraction when just 1 year before 30,000 tons of stone was excavated for sea defences, with the same amount of stone used for the building of the dome of St. Paul's Cathedral 350 years earlier. Sofaer's recording of artists' work for the Living Land Archive includes a dialogue with Anthony Gormley on his work Still Falling during Portland Sculpture and Quarry Trust's 10th anniversary seminar, with audiovisual transcripts informing an article by Charles Hall, editor for the Art Review Yearbook. It's called Still Falling. There's a sort of question there. Are we still falling? And that obviously opens up the big area of reflection that the quarry engages, which is, what is man's place within the natural world, and are we still, in a way, not only falling ourselves, but causing that which supports us to fall also? If we're to survive, and if the world that supports us, this earth, this planet that supports us, is to survive, we have to use culture to discover our nature within nature. And this is such a fundamental change in the way in which the West has considered education and civilization and the culture that binds those two concepts together. Still Falling by Anthony Gormley is a life-size figure incised into a 150 million year cross-section of the quarry strata that puts forward questions integral to the cultural and environmental context of the quarry landscape and the educational work of the Trust. Okay. During a recent presentation at Aberystwyth University in 2016 for the Strata Conference, Szatucsek discussed how culture and landscape are inextricably linked to the loss of habitat and climate change through an ever-increasing demand for minerals. In the UK, running at 10 tonnes per person each year throughout their lives. For all materials, there is a cost to the environment, and this opens up questions of how collaborative relationships and experimentation can contribute to the regeneration and interpretation of landscapes, reducing environmental and cultural impacts by bringing a broad spectrum of innovation to bear on often generic problems associated with mineral workings. With the project situated at the centre of 11 contrasting quarry environments, access to geological strata informs our understanding of environments past and present and future climate change. The interrelationship of art and science and parallel paths of collaboration and experimentation is essential within a growing crisis related to rapid loss of nature and culture. Environmental ethics and remediation efforts have a chance of impacting upon our future if we are proactive now. Just the next slide. Sofaer's intention for innovation in communications and new technologies to make the Living Land Archive resource publicly accessible through investing physical and digital materials back into the geostrata of the landscape is a key element of the installation of the memory stones. The memory stones is a new landmark arrival point for the wider Portland Quarries and Nature Park, consolidating a 30-year trajectory of practice. The Memory Stones installation forms part of a LIVE project with funding support from the Arts Council grants for the Arts Scheme and other funders, including local authority support for the strategic planning of the installation and its further development. The notion of long-term cultural change is key. As the Arts Council for England policy document states, this is integral to the cultural education challenge and our work with cultural education partnerships.
The recent initiative is a phased funding scheme with a sculptural installation creating a curatorial space and threshold for access to the site and of the archive. A presence in the landscape that focuses the concept of creative diversity as outlined in the Arts Council criteria for practice-based approach. The Living Land Archive includes primary source earth science research by Professor James Francis, paleoclimatologist, director of the Antarctic Survey, who has informed the concept for the reinstatement of the fossil record, of examples of the fossil record. That's an example of how the stones might connect to audiovisual archive that's been collected over 35 years. So that's Jane Francis and the use of digital media along a pathway to make a journey descending from the present day to the Jurassic sea floor. This geological resource, this geological record has evidence of life preserved at the molecular level and connects with other environments where the same geological processes and changes in climate are happening today. The sculptural installation of the memory stones will provide a key to the landscape and platform for this exchange of information with considerable potential for the application of new technologies and research through a multidisciplinary team working across departments and expertise referred to by Dr. M.Wilson in this paper. The technology aspect will provide connectivity to the Living Land Archive and be integrated into live projects spanning the next 3 years that extend into the wider landscape, contributing to culture nature roots within Portland's Quarries Nature Park. And this opens up discussion as to what type of structure might be needed for this to take place. And I think the UNESCO criterion for the Dorset and East Devon World Heritage Coast site evaluates the geological importance of the site as including outstanding examples representing major stages of Earth history, including the record of life, significant ongoing geological processes in the development of landforms or significant geomorphic or physiographic features. Continued research is a management requirement of the site, as is providing both cultural, sensory access to the nationally important landscape and seascape, much of which is classified as areas of outstanding natural beauty and sites of special scientific interest. Portland, as you can see, is at the centre both geographically and geologically of the World Heritage Site. A British Urban Regeneration Award, Bureau 209, for community-inspired regeneration acknowledged key learning points. One was bringing together industry, culture, education, using local industrial heritage to build pride and sense of ownership, offering hope to a community that saw itself in decline. Careful long-term management, involvement of a wide range of partners. And the project was facing the issues and problems connected with disused and neglected quarries, including fly tipping, waste dumping, and other environmental issues. The New Start reporting on the Bureau Awards wrote, judges say the project offers opportunities for the community to come together around art and culture, training and preservation of the environment. They describe the ethos of the project as one of openness, inclusivity, local ownership, and pride. This is a unique and thrilling example of what an arts-based regeneration that is truly inspired by a community and its environment can do. I've never seen anything like this. An important donation from the community of materials towards the Living Land Archive includes the Ray Archive. This contains much layered information that reveals the complexities of the relationships between the land, the people, and the quarrying on the island. The basic geomorphological control of the quarrying process, gully to gully, easter, westers, southers on one hand, and the dependency of the quarry process industry on the land and its ownership control based on the ties map of lawn sheds on the other, lends itself to some kind of geographically based platform. This would have to be multi-dimensional to cater for the three-dimensional geological, geomorphological mineral distribution and the attendant layers of information attached to each. There is potential for CGI or augmented reality or artificial reality on a mobile platform to illustrate key concepts, e.g. raised beach within locations being able to visualize the historical sea level in relation to the current topography and geographical features. And there is much in the archives that would support the exploration of the geological relationships between the quarries from which the stone was taken, and comparisons with buildings constructed from Portland stone in the City of London. The primary source field study research recorded for the LLA informed the concept for the model of exchange of skills and knowledge in collaboration with artists, earth scientists, ecologists, architects, landscape designers, creating a new landscape for the 21st century with ongoing documentation of the process. This forward-looking proposal, developed with Michael Pulteney, Managing Director Albion Stone, was taken forward through the Aggregates Levy Sustainability Fund, DEFRA, Mineral Industry Research Organisations, Mineral Industry Sustainable Technology Programme, under research priorities for planning for closure and knowledge transfer in 2003 to 2007, in which Portland Sculpture and Quarry Trust was the lead organisation with the University of Brighton as a principal partner of 33 in total. Details of research are within the two reports, Independent Quarry, a new model for regeneration, and Cultural Landscape, Stories of the Earth.
One of the most pertinent things about the Portland Quarry in terms of its partnership with the University of Brighton comes through its testbed for arts and design practice research. And two things particularly. One is what knowledge can be drawn out by artists working in this kind of environment, and also then how we disseminate and preserve the knowledge as it comes from them. For artists and designers who are largely working individually, this is an opportunity for joint focus and community practice, which in itself makes the most out of this Portland Quarry environment. The diversity of experience provided between Portland Sculpture and Quarry Trust and the staff and students at the University of Brighton has proved the success of a new model for regeneration based on this principle of interdisciplinary exchange within the environment. This has created a new platform for experimentation to progress collaborative research between the arts, the sciences, and the humanities. One of the unique aspects of the University of Brighton's relationship with Portland Quarry is the breadth of practice that the project's harnessed, taking full advantage of the extensive practice portfolio in the arts departments at the university here. Architecture, sculpture, sound art, performance. They've all made use of the facility here, bringing students alongside experienced researchers to test the potential of the important space. Researchers from the University of Brighton, Amy Cunningham, Connell Gleeson, Claudia Kappenberg, J.Whitaker, have mapped the site through audio, visual, and performance processes, exploring in particular the acoustic properties of this cavernous quarry and of the Portland stone, and of the mechanization of human labor through the traditional quarry songs. The project has also included the reintroduction of quarry song through the reinvention of industrial machinery as a musical instrument. A separate strand of investigations consisted of a photographic project which drew relations between human timescale, the single human body, and the geological time of stone. The University of Brighton has further research expertise in heritage technologies, in app-based sculpture trails, and in live performative cinema through newly evolving schools of media, art, and architecture, and also a well-established cultural informatics research strand. This, together with international artists in telematics and environmental response sculpture, provide an interconnected platform for the support of site-specific multimedia projects, and specifically underpins the potential extension of this relationship with the quarry. The development of enhanced digital accessibility offers Brighton's students and staff, their artists and designers, increased access to a repository of research findings, research from and through the arts, and gives opportunities to bring further investigations to the longer-term evolution of the project. There is considerable strength in the interdisciplinary research platform that can be established from the university in tandem with the trust, and this brings consequent enhancement of joint opportunities for progress and funding. Within phase 2 and 3 of the recently achieved funding, the dissemination of the research will articulate to new audiences the routes of access to the quarry, where the physical and the digital archive can become a catalyst for collaborations between, for example, artists and the wildlife heritage community in new initiatives to connect the quarries of Portland to the buildings of London. A project for the Royal Academy 250th celebrations in 2018 will re-engage Royal Academy artists in the quarry context to connect archive materials and the University of Brighton's academic research in the mapping of cultural and historical routes both in Portland and in London. This position paper has attempted to introduce a structural overview of key elements resulting in the successful and ambitious project of the memory stones that is currently being realized within the community of Portland and its cultural landscape heritage. The impact and the relevance of a long-term academic partnership and engagement from the outstanding list of participatory evidence throughout the 30-year trajectory has enabled the construct of collaborative custodianship to evolve. Among the questions for the future, therefore, these questions are maintained through the practice-based innovation that invites response and dialogue, reflecting on the way in which the artist creates a bridge to operational strategic thinking and practice, particularly through evidence positioned here for building and opening up a dialogue into further ongoing and multidisciplinary partnership. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Another evidence how broad DLM horizon is. And questions from the audience. Yes, please.
Hi. I was wondering, with interdisciplinary research, always I'm curious, did a common language emerge from this research? In which civil.
I guess the languages of the stones and of nature and of art. I know these are the kinds of concepts that artistic practice is dealing with alongside that, and is part of the evolution of that kind of cultural value. Is that the?
Yeah, but there was also the parallel paths of science and art. Parallel, you know, so there were these crossovers at times and not at others, and a layering, very much a layering of the landscape through the exchange.
So thank you again.